And welcome back to part 3 of this conversation that I had with Bree, where we were speculating on what we think is going to happen in season 2 of the Wheel of Time TV show, based on what we saw in the trailer, and of course our knowledge of the books, and anything that we have heard or gleaned over the past 2 years. Can you believe it's been 2 years since season 1 came out? Bree, for those of you who don't know, she is, of course, a very active member of the Wheel of Time community. She's my friend. And also, she is one half of the sci-fi fantasy romance author duo Kit Rocha. They've written tons of books, including the Mercenary Librarian series, which I've read and thoroughly enjoyed, and was published by Tor, which is the same publishing company that published The Wheel of Time, and I know that was a trip for Bree. But yeah, because, you know, this is what Bree does for a living. She crafts stories, she crafts characters, she crafts plot. It's really fun to talk to her about this sort of thing because she knows what she's talking about. She knows how to put the puzzle pieces together to make something that makes sense and works and is satisfying. So yeah, in this particular video, we kind of jump around from topic to topic. We talk about Moiraine and Siuan and the two very, very ominous children that show up in the trailer, among other things. Spoilers, again, full spoilers, the entire series. We don't hold back when we're talking. And as I am going to continue to do until the situation is resolved, I encourage you to support the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. If you can, donate to the Entertainment Community Fund. The studios are hoping that they can wait them out. They're hoping that, you know, because the studios have the money, that they can just hold off until these people in the WGA and SAG-AFTRA start to lose their homes, not be able to pay for their kids' schools or groceries. It's really, really super villainy kind of stuff. And the demands that the WGA and SAG-AFTRA are asking for are really, really reasonable. You can Google them. They're very, very reasonable. And so, yeah, I fully support them, and I hope you will too. And yeah, with that, let's get into it.
Let's be nerdy, babe. Let's be nerdy. Let's be nerdy. Let's be nerdy, babe. Let's be nerdy, babe. Let's be nerdy. Let's be nerdy, babe.
It is interesting how little Elaine and Matt they gave us in the trailer. I think, like, you know, new Matt and then Elaine, new character, obviously.
Yeah.
But I found that interesting. Like, oh, just 2 short glimpses of new Matt. And like one of the things with Elaine is you don't notice it until you slow down, like when she's running behind Egwene. Like it's
I mean, you can't even see her face. Like, we know that's Elaine. I don't think other people are gonna know that's Elaine.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did give a lot of, it was very Moiraine, Lan, Nynaeve, Rand.
Yeah. With some nice tantalizing Perrin.
It did feel like a bit of Egwene. But
yeah,
the Egwene, I think, just like hits us so hard because we all know what's coming.
Yeah, I don't like. Again, watching, like, for example, EDN, Everyday Negroes reactions, they were like, oh, she's real mad because she saw Rand with another woman. And I'm like, oh, you don't even know. You don't know.
Sweet children.
That's not what's going on here at all. Like, not even a little bit.
No.
Oh, it's going to break us. It's going to break us. Okay. Do you have any other specific predictions for season 2 that you like from the trailer or from not? Like, what are you pointing at here?
Why is she have a kid at the Dark Friends social?
Do you have any thoughts on that? Because
I do not want to think about it. What is happening?
No, that is a very disturbing thing. And now I do like, again, we'll take suggestion that is just, it's not a kid, it's just Samael. I love.
Yeah. Take your evil child to work day.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm excited. I'm so excited. I feel like they have so much potential for good directions. They have so many ways they could weave this season together to take our characters on the journey we need them to go on.
Yeah.
I mean, Egwene feels like the most obvious. We know what her journey is going to be.
Of course.
And I'm excited to see what they do with Nynaeve's trauma. And then, like, apparently the second she's like, okay, I guess I'll give you weirdos in this tower a chance, they toss her into the trauma rings.
Yep.
So, like, more trauma. Here's 3 times the trauma.
Yep.
So she can't be loving the Aes Sedai by the time she comes out of there.
No. Like, especially like with most people who go into the trauma rings like having been like, I've been wanting to be an Aes Sedai for years, whereas she's just like, what? I have to be an Aes Sedai? Trauma! Like, that's
yeah. So on
dirty.
top of the trauma, they give her 3 times more trauma.
Mhm.
Then the next moment, if she trusts an Aes Sedai, they're going to trauma her
Yep.
some more.
Yep.
So if she ends this season wanting to basically set the White Tower on fire, I feel like we will have accomplished Nynaeve's most important growth arc.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
I also hope that she gets to see Lan again,
Yeah.
because just for me,
Yeah. Oh, yes, very much so.
just for all of us, just a little treat.
Just kiss.
I'm holding out. I think that your theory
Me
on
too.
untying the knots, Siuan untying Moiraine's shield.
I'm trying to cross. Oh, my fingers crossed. Look at that. I'm trying. I want it so bad. I want it
You
so
did
bad.
it.
I want it so
I
bad.
think your theory is gaining widespread agreement that we all want Siuan to untie the knots on Moiraine's shield.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say this here because a lot of people like in the comments have said like, that's impossible because it's Saidin versus Saidar. That is a thing that happens in the books. People who weave Saidin unravel weaves with Saidar and vice versa. It happens in the books. This is not completely out of nowhere. If you're skilled, you know how to do it. You can figure it out.
Yep.
Now, speaking of Lan and Nynaeve, we've got Siuan and Moiraine, and of course the Moiraine not channeling plotline. This is a completely new thing. I am extremely excited about it. I think it's such a cool dynamic.
She's on a horse with a sword once. I was like,
yes. Any thoughts on like, because these are new storylines, right? Like they're completely, well, not completely new, but they're anyway, what are your thoughts on what
I am excited? Like I everybody knows I want more Damage Red family drama. Damage Red and Trakand family drama is the thing I want most, because like I feel like Elaine and Gawain are running around not acting like children whose dad tried to murder their mom.
Yeah.
I need a little more of that. And you know, I think that Moiraine completely repressing everything, but when she goes back to Cairhien and she's in the noble woman dresses and she's in the noble woman places and she's got this family legacy hanging over her that now is more like immediate than ever, because she knows that the Aiel came over the wall to
kill
drop
her
that
uncle.
baby on a mountain.
Yeah.
And she knows who that baby is.
Yeah.
And she knows that he and her just whoopsie daisy let Satan out of jail.
Yeah, whoopsie daisy.
You know, and now she has no magic to deal with it.
Yeah. And like the interesting thing about having her back in Cairhien, which is not something I remember. I don't think that. Yeah, we never see that.
No,
because she doesn't try to hide who she is, but she also in the books like she never highlights it ever. So I think it's obviously something she's somewhat ashamed of. And so it's going to be interesting seeing her in this vulnerable situation where she can't channel in a place where her family ties are known. And so she can't hide, like can't just be an Aes Sedai where people focus on her Aes Sedai-ness. Like they're going to be like, also, no, you're a Damage Red.
Canonically, she had to freaking flee the tower because they were going to make her queen. They're going to
make her queen. Exactly.
And imagine them all sitting over there going, oh, she can't channel anymore.
No,
now she's the perfect queen. Give her something to do.
Oh, it'll be interesting. That would
be interesting. I mean, yeah, they could be trying to coup and for Moiraine. Like, we don't know what they'll do if she stays still too long.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any specific predictions for like Siuan, Moiraine in Cairhien, Moiraine just in general, Moiraine and Lan's their dynamic? Like any thoughts on that?
I'm interested to see if we're going to get any resolution to the bond passing thing, because apparently we've got a new dynamic now where she can't do anything with the bond and they can't feel it because like she can't unmask it.
Yeah.
Well, she can't channel, but presumably it's still there.
Yes. Because I think if it wasn't there, he would have felt it rebound back on him, right? Like
stress level 8,000. Yeah, like that was one of the things I always said about the stilling. We know what happens to a warder when his Aes Sedai gets stilled. I mean, it basically killed them.
Yeah.
When Rand did that.
Yeah.
So he has now got an Aes Sedai who we can't feel how she's doing or where she is, but he'll definitely die crazy if anything happens to her. And she's running around with no powers trying to still like freaking fight the Forsaken.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Lan, we're gonna get Valium for him. Like so much Valium. Just like I am worried. Like I feel like that's definitely and she's yelling at him a lot about not understanding how dangerous
something or someone
is in the trailer, which makes me wonder like what he's doing, what he's doing to try to rectify the situation for her.
Yeah. Obviously I want everything. Please give me everything with Nynaeve and the Egwene storyline is going to break me into pieces, I know. But the Lan and Moiraine dynamic is one of the things I'm most excited about because it's such an interesting thing. Like, I think up until this point, I think in Moraine's mind, like they've had a very, very equal partnership, right? Like they're both on the same road. They're on the same goals. She brings the ability to channel into this situation. He's big, strong, swordy man. And now he's still big, strong, swordy man. And in her mind, she's got nothing. And so I like that lashing out, that yelling at him totally to me feels like a vulnerable person. Like it's the old Yeller thing, right? Like just get away.
She's trying to white fang him.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm seeing in that. So yeah,
I think that it's definitely a tricky dynamic especially for him to weather because he's suddenly the dangerous one in this partnership. Also, I really do think that we're going to get a little bit of that Lan and Rand thing that people were missing.
Yeah, I think we have to.
I think that some of the mentorship, some of the Lan not being sure that he wants to feed Rand because he's going to have some of Nynaeve's, loyalties. That was like the one scene we did see them.
Yeah.
In the Great Hunt was Moiraine thinking about how Lan is like adopting the loyalties of Nynaeve, like in protecting her ducklings.
Exactly. And I think we absolutely have to see some of that mentoring because with the highlighting of Turok's Heron Mark blade, I'm assuming we're going to get that fight, right?
Yeah.
And if they never show Rand getting some sword training, that's just going to be, we need to see him getting some sword training, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think that, and we can have some, luckily, if he's been on the road, we can have some blurry montage situation, but I would like Lan to be teaching him.
Oh yeah.
And we've seen shirtless Lan and sword fighting.
Shirtless,
so I'm hoping that there's
Lan.
I'm hoping there's some training montages in our future.
Yeah, with Eye of the Tiger. Dun, 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 dun. I mean,
he definitely looked in that one scene where he was walking down the hallway like he was crossing the courtyard.
Yes, and
there was some swagger.
I'm going to point something out that somebody pointed out in the comments. Moiraine is in that shot.
Yes, she is at the other end.
Yes. So
So yeah, and we've definitely the Siuan and Moiraine shot where they're both in blue felt like a flashback.
That has to be because Siuan's missing she's missing some tattoos on her arm. And they're both in blue, which I don't think Amyrlin Siuan
Siuan wouldn't be wearing blue. No. I don't think.
Blue Sedai Siuan definitely would. So that's
so I think it's a flashback. So we're gonna get that. Maybe that's gonna be the prophecy. Maybe we're gonna get. I mean, part of me does not want. I don't love the blind seer thing that they decided to do out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But if he takes his first cries on the slopes of Dragonmount. He lies in this snow. That's some pretty epic poetry. So if we do get to see it, I won't be sad.
Yeah,
I'm literally falling over dead after screaming that.
Yeah, I'm inclined to not think it is, but again, they can play with timelines. But one of the reasons I'm inclined to not think is that they're in blue, so they're Aes Sedai. They're not. They're not accepted, but they can mess that around. Like they can
absolutely smudge.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's my inclination was just like, oh, this is sometime in the last 20 years.
I feel like they looked so happy that it had to be like the reason I felt like that might be pre-prophecy, is they just looked so light.
Yeah, they do look
and
very, very
so
happy.
zero weight of the world.
Yeah.
And like even every second in that like even though they loved each other and that was beautiful meeting we saw between them in the cabin.
Yeah, there's a lot feel the burden on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Speaking of light and happy, and in my opinion, one of the scariest images from the trailer was that Perrin with the girl, and they're so happy, because every implication I can think of that scene breaks my heart. Like, obviously the one everybody jumped at is, oh, that's a Flickerverse, that's the child that everybody thinks, and I know you have this like, but that he and Layla would have had if she hadn't, accidentally been killed. And that breaks my heart. And then the other idea that I have, like,
would you like to hear something about that child that maybe Pez would say if she was here?
Okay.
Because Pez has trained us both so well. The first thing I did when I looked at that child was thought, hey, that color scheme is familiar. And I went back to episode 8 and opened the end where we have fake Egwene on the mountain.
Right.
And she's wearing the same sort of colors that Perrin is wearing in that thing.
Okay.
And what's more, Perrin, who Pez has pointed out to us, always has metal findings on all of his clothing because he's the blacksmith. He's got wooden toggles on his shirt in that thing.
Okay, interesting.
So the first thing I thought was, well, I don't think they're doing that by mistake, because Pez has told me that they're never doing anything by mistake.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's an AU Perrin for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe even a dream Perrin.
It could be a dream, yeah. But okay, every possibility of it though, like there's no possibility of it that doesn't make me incredibly sad. Like it's just, if it's his siblings, like we're actually going to meet any of his siblings, then for the future, that's making one particular event way more gut-wrenching than it already is. And then if it's like, a AU Perrin with a happy child that he didn't get to have because his wife got bisected, then
you haven't even gotten to the worst one, which I think will make you scream.
Which is,
well, since the color scheme was something that was in a dream to test somebody, I sort of thought that might be something that Nynaeve's gonna have to run away from him getting axed.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Nynaeve's gonna have to turn her back on this lovely Two Rivers
happiness
family getting slaughtered.
Like there's no possibility of seeing Perrin walking around happy that isn't gut-wrenching. Perrin, I didn't realize, like, happy Perrin is very, very ominous. It's really, really
I love
ominous.
You, Perrin, so much.
I love you. Why are you happy? Because it's gonna break me. Stop being happy. So
yes, both instances of kids in this trailer was horrifying. Do not want.
No.
So
okay, all right. So going back to the trailer, is there any other scenes from the trailer that were you specifically wanting to highlight or talk about? As I'm trying to think of any that I want to ask you about.
I think that we got most of the stuff I wanted to say. I was just thinking, I don't have the best predictions because I feel like this season has so much potential, but I feel like we're going to start in the tower, accepted test. I think Swan's going to visit her girlfriend, and I'm wondering and setting up the seeds for her downfall in this. I truly feel like Secret Logain would be the way to go. Also, I hope we're going to find out what Leandrin was doing in North Harbor, because she is sketchy walking through the Thunder Night.
I think that scene is her taking the girls to the Waygate. It's entirely because at one point Leandrin turns and the look on her face is pure exasperation at a certain point. And in my mind, that's like the girls following her, and it's pure headcanon. But Elaine's back there being all like, ooh, we're going on an adventure. And Leandrin's like, shut the fuck up. This is like a secret journey. Like the look on her face is pure like, shh. Like the
poor Leandrin.
Yeah.
I don't say that often.
I know. The show has blown my mind a little bit because I don't want Leandrin to succeed. I don't want her to succeed in her missions, whatever. But I also don't entirely want her to fail because I care about Leandrin, which, what the fuck? I don't understand.
Good job, show.
Yes, I know. I love it. I love it so much.
I mean, they're going to make all of these people messy.
Yeah.
And that's really...
Yeah.
That's really what the best thing you can do.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. I do think we will get to see like what or at least find out what the man in North Harbor is, but I am like 80% sure that that's what that walk is. Like she's got a basket, like she's going on a journey, and you know, she was going on
just going on an adventure.
Yeah, exactly. I have a scene I have a question for you about. I just realized.
Okay.
Rand choking Moiraine. Any thoughts?
Oh boy.
I have no thoughts. Well, one thought, because he has blood on his neck, right? So, and it's very specifically in the same spot where she held the blade to his throat at the end of episode 8. So one of the thoughts I had is, oh, this is some sort of dream, blah, blah, blah. Do you have any thoughts or guesses as to why Rand is choking like Carpool Mom?
I have no evidence for this, and there's nothing to say that I'm right, but I personally kind of feel like that's him choking real her.
Okay.
But not on purpose. That is either like a PTSD awakening after he's been tormented in dreams.
Okay.
Or there's some compulsion lingering or something. I think he is, or the madness, or there's something going on. But I actually kind of feel like that's her. And that's not like analyzing the picture or anything. Just my gut is, I think they would go there because the only thing that like would be hard, like what a horrible moment for Moiraine. She took these little babies out of this village like not that long ago and had all of the power, all of the magic, all of the everything. And she has been brought so low. And now this child she's trying to guide is like, could literally kill her.
Yeah.
And I feel like they can do so much emotionally with that it's probably her.
Okay.
That's just my God. Like I mean, I don't know if people have like seen things that makes them think that it's a dream or like the dream world, but I just think like as a writer, you couldn't do it much to Moiraine that is meaner than making her afraid of Rand.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you want to do that.
Yeah.
Because writers are terrible people.
Well, the other thought that I just had based on like what you just said, because there is that blood on his neck and it's just so specifically placed, is it could be after a dream torment, but like sometimes the wounds that you have in dreams stick around, right? So he wakes up from a dream where she's holding a knife to his neck and he's like, you were literally holding a knife to my neck in my dream and now you're here, like that kind of thing. Like what if he wakes up from a dream where he's being tormented in his dreams, and in his dream it's the scene from whatever episode 8 and she's got a knife to his neck, and then he wakes up and there's still blood on his neck from the knife to his neck and she's there, like she's in the room, and so he kind of, you know, from a dream where she was about to kill him, chokes her. Like that's,
I mean, believe me, if Lanfear's not in his dreams making him try to mistrust Moiraine, like what is she even doing with her life?
Exactly.
Like, come on, girl. That's 101. She's not going to mess around with puke it up bat. She's going straight for.
She's better at seducing young men than Ishii. Although, I think I've gone into this quite a bit before, but I don't think Ishii in book 1, like his goal was.
Hear you. Don't make him too mad. He's right next to me.
That's true. Sorry, Ishii. But like, they didn't need to go to the Eye of the World in book 1. He was tricking them. Like if they hadn't gone to the Eye of the World, nobody would have found it, right? Like he was following the Taveran scent. All of the Forsaken were. So the whole thing with Ratbacks, he wasn't trying to seduce them. He was trying to terrify them them into getting to the Eye of the World. So his plan worked. Clever. I'm complimenting you, Ishii. Just, you know.
There you go.
Compliment. It was a compliment.
Good job.
Yes.
Be chill, dude. We'll go out for like takeout after we're done.
Have some calf. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know your thoughts on our theories. Do you think that Siuan and Moiraine, like, do you think that's a new spring flashback? Or do you think that's the prophecy? Or do you think it's sometime during the past, just any time during the past 20 years? I do see what Bree means by them being very light. They do look very without stress in that moment, completely. And the children, Especially that almond. Well, both of them. Both of the children worry me so much. Anyway, what are your thoughts? And anything else that came up in this video? Part 2, of course, or part 4, I should say. The final one is coming up soon. So look out for that. And yeah, if you like my videos and my content, you want to support me, I do have a Patreon. It is always linked in the description below. To my patrons, I am so thankful for your support. I don't know that this would be possible without you, so thank you so much. And with that, I am going to end this here. So please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!